Hey guys, Bear here from Pickleball Kitchen. Today it's time to learn how to get a few points off your serve. Yes, you can win points on your serve if you try hard enough and if you know what to do. So here are 4 serves that you can do to win points right off the bat. Let's go. So the first serve I'm going to show you here is a sideline serve. Now this one seems kind of obvious, but it's going to depend on which side of the court you're on. The reason why this is so effective is because it's going to make your opponent move. Now what I'm going to show you the serve from back here, and then I'm going to show you what it looks like up close. So what you're looking for is the angle on this sideline. The closer you are to the center line here, the less angle you're going to have to that sideline, the less effective that it's actually going to be. But if I come over here to the corner here and do a sideline serve, that angle is going to be much more extreme. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stand here, over here in the corner, and I'm just going to hit a soft little stroke towards that sideline. That's all I'm going to do. And I'm going to hit a soft little shot that gives some kind of angle. Now, if it's not perfect, that's okay, but I want you to notice what happened. What happened was I made Ryan move, and that's what's really, really important with a serve like this. And then you get more extreme like that. So that was like a legit ace. Now look, we're here recording. In a real game, that's probably not gonna happen, okay? But really, really good if you can pull that off. So let me show it to you again. So it makes your opponent move, and they're probably gonna dump it into the net. Now, here is the important part. How do you hit a stroke like this? Because, you know, I'm standing over here in the corner, my feet are mostly facing forward. How do you actually hit a stroke to the right like that? Well, it's basically an inside-out forehand. There's many different ways you can do an inside-out forehand, but the way I want you to sort of think about it is when you take your paddle back, when you come through, you're gonna try to loop underneath and push the paddle forward. Again, there are many different ways to do an inside-out. That's just one of them, okay? So in slow motion here, take the paddle back and then come inside like this, and it's almost like I'm going to hit my leg when I'm coming through and push the paddle forward. Oh, I don't know if that was in or not, but it was really close.
So we're going to get into the computer here and look at some of these serves, but one thing I realized actually when I was editing the video here is that this serve actually hit the net. So let me just kind of show you here. So here comes the ball, and it just barely hit the net there as it was going over, but the other serve was much better, and you can see it really hit the sideline. And notice how it bounces out like this. So like this is really the important part. Because I'm standing over here in the corner, okay, you get that really extreme angle going to the right like that. And if you can get it to land somewhere near the sideline, it's going to bounce out like that as well. Whereas if I'm only standing like right here, that angle just isn't going to be as good. Now, one thing that's important to understand before we go any further is that these shots are generally going to be one-trick ponies. When you do this shot for the first time, it may not work repeatedly. Just make sure you understand that. So, but try this one out. Let's move on to the next one.
Now, here's the next thing you can do is a mind games kind of serve, okay? So if you've been doing those sideline serves all the time, you can then switch it up and do something different, and it's gonna completely catch them off guard, and it is hysterical. Okay, so watch. I'm speaking softly because I don't want Ryan to hear me. So again, now, what'd you notice him do, right? He kind of stuttered there for a second because he thought I was gonna go sideline. That's the mind game serve. You can train your opponent basically to expect something, and then you change that expectation and it can mess them up. But that's the mind game serve. It's very, very effective. And what's even more effective is that if you stand over here in the corner like this, you are telegraphing what you're gonna do, right? It's very obvious what I'm gonna do. If I'm standing over here in the corner, I am going to hit it down the sideline. It's very obvious. So that when all of a sudden you hit it up the center line instead, it's very unusual and it comes out of nowhere. The same thing can apply for the center line here. If I'm sitting on the center line like this, then the obvious thing is that I'm gonna serve right down the center line. That's very obvious, but then what you can do is be very odd and serve down the sideline instead. The next serve that you can do to mess people up is the lob serve, but I don't want you to think of it as just a normal little thing like that. That's okay. I want you to try to put a little bit of topspin on this serve, okay? So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna come underneath and then brush up like that. So you notice how that had a lot more topspin on it. So down and up. A lot of pickleball players these days haven't really figured out how to hit balls that bounce high. Tennis players do. They are very good at that. Do not use the serve against tennis players because they will punish you. But with people who don't have that background, this serve can be super, super effective. So just come underneath and just lob like you typically do. There's really nothing too fancy. Just try to add a little bit of topspin. That's a great way, great serve to throw in every now and then to mess people up.
So when it comes to the lob serve, I want to show you this angle because I think it's going to be a little bit easier to sort of understand. So here I am in my kind of new open stance serve that I've been doing recently. And you're going to do the same thing as you usually do with your serve. So drop it the way you want, take your paddle back the way you want, whatever is comfortable for you. Don't really worry about that. And then as you come through, you're going to do that brushing up motion. Okay, so there's the point of impact right there. All right. And notice that swipe there. So it's almost like I'm kind of waving high to someone. And if you can finish with the paddle up here like this, like that, where it's sort of, it's kind of like facing your ear, that's what you want. That's that swipey, top spinny kind of motion here. This is a very, very, very powerful serve. And as I said, these can be one-trick ponies, but with the lob serve, that one's a little bit more consistent. Just try to make sure that you're putting some kind of topspin on the ball if you can. Hey, real quick, if this is useful for you, do you mind leaving a subscribe and a like on the video? I would really, really appreciate it. Thank you so much.
The next serve is the changeup. This one is really, really cool. It is a short serve that you do after you've been serving hard. So if you've been serving hard to your opponent, something like that, where you are really ripping it to shreds, and especially, most importantly, really deep serves, way, way back into the court, what you do now is you serve it as short as you possibly can. So you do the same thing, same setup. You're getting really aggressive here, like this, and then do something really short like that. And it's, once again, it really catches people off guard. That one can be very, very effective, but you have to be careful with this one though. Reason is because it's a lot easier to hit it into the kitchen than you think. Another great thing to do is actually do a change up towards the sideline as well. So you can kind of do a thing. And it's almost like you're doing like a volley drop shot kind of dealy. Really weird, but quite effective.
When it comes to the change-up serve, I'd like to show you this angle as well because it'll give you an idea of what it looks like to sort of fake the power serve. So I'll just play it for you here. And you see how abbreviated my motion is. So my take back was similar to a power serve, right? The toss was similar. My overall body language is similar. You know, you see the lag there and then the strike, but notice the follow through. It's almost like I'm doing a third shot drop. That's really what it's like when it comes to the changeup, but obviously you don't want to hit it into the kitchen.
So thank you for making it towards the end of the video. I really appreciate it. For those who did, I'm gonna give you a little bit of a bonus one. And this one's just kind of weird, something I'm experimenting with, but it's a drop slice serve. The thing about serving in pickleball is most of it is topspin. Like pretty much all of it is topspin. Try this. Drop and then do a cut with your forehand. Okay, so drop and then cut it like that. Now, there's a couple of things that you can do with this. It can either land short and it won't hardly bounce at all because of the backspin, or you can put it real deep and hope that they have a hard time kind of handling backspin. So drop. One of the cool things about the serve too is that it's going to have this like floating kind of trajectory, and it can really mess people up with the depth perception. That was awesome. Really have this kind of backhand grip like this. So move your hands to the left if you're left-handed. Okay, so again, drop, just slice like that. Really, really cool.
So here's that bonus serve for you. Just want to show you what this looks like. It's kind of like that. So hold the ball up, drop, and then slice down on it like that. And you can really see the cut. See that cut going across. And there's a lot of backspin on it. And what that will do is when the ball lands, it'll sort of bounce low and it'll bounce short. It'll kind of stop in a way. And it can really mess them up because it forces them to move forward. And a lot of people, when they're moving forward and trying to hit a return, they mess it up in some way. I've done that, that's for sure. And since you made it to the end of the video, I'm going to give you a little bit of a sneak peek in terms of what the next video is. Oh boy, coming soon. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you need to do some major improving with your game, I've got a great video for you. Check it out up here, and I'll see you over there. Thanks for joining me.